are we doing?
Let's talk to this person.
What is your favorite Marvel character?
Spider-Man.
You know something funny about that? No matter what character I had mentioned, you all would have applauded and gone,
First of all, I'm sorry for the shirt. My name is Lance. Who would win in a fight? The Hulk or Thor?
You want the truth? It would depend on who is writing the script. See, I'm going to tell you something, but I don't want it to leave this room. These are fictitious characters. We write stories about them. But I shouldn't say, I don't want to disillusion everybody, so I'll stop right there.
How did you... You can yell, I'll tell them. Okay. How did you feel about your characters when they were turned into movies?
When they were what?
How did you feel about your characters when they were turned into movies?
Oh, I loved it. I tell you why. The movies were great, as you know, and I had very little to do with the movies, but a lot of people give me a lot of credit for it, and I'm such a phony, I accept the credit.
People love seeing Stan in those movies.
I'm going to tell you a secret, if you could all keep a secret. One of the reasons that the movies have made so much money is because of me, and I'll explain why. You know, I do these cameos, and the cameos are very brief, and sometimes if you blink your eye, you can miss a cameo. So what happens when somebody misses a cameo? He or she runs to the box office, buys another ticket, and sees the movie again, not to miss the cameo. So I figure the movies would have made half as much if not for my cameos.
First of all, thanks for coming. And then the second question I have is, how do you feel about what's going on in Spider-Man universe right now?
I have no idea what's going on. I haven't got time to read the books. Somebody told me, I think that Dr. Octopus is now Spider-Man, or Spider-Man is dead, or... But it doesn't matter what's happening. In a few months, everything will be back to normal. It always is. But seriously, it's a terrible thing to say. I really do not have time to read the books and follow what's happening. So to me, I go back so far. All the characters are still alive. Gwen and Mary Jane are still running around dating Peter. I haven't read the books for years. No, not for years, but for the past 8 or 10 months anyway.
My question is, how did you get inspired to create all these wonderful characters?
How did you become inspired to create all these wonderful characters?
Oh, through greed. I worked for a publisher, and I wanted the publisher to keep paying me. And he'd say to me, Stan, the last character you did sold pretty well, do another character. So I figured, well, maybe I'll get a raise, or I'll keep my job. It was a job, that's all it was. And I guess I was lucky. I was also lucky because I worked with the most talented artists that there have ever been in comic books. Any story that I wrote, Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and John Romita and John Buscema and Gene Colan and on, those guys made these stories look like masterpieces. So I was happy to take the credit, and they made them look good, and it was a great arrangement. I forgot what the question was, but all of you forgot it also. How do you know where to look? I mean, there's a million people, and you look as if you're looking at the person who's asking the question. How do you know where to look?
I'm good.
Or are you faking it?
I'm good.
I don't like sitting with a man who's faking it.
Mr. Lee, this is a rather personal question.
Uh-oh.
In your opinion, who is the sexiest character you have ever created, and how would you seal the deal?
This isn't being broadcast anywhere where my wife will be. The sexiest character I've ever created. I never think of them in those terms. See, to me, they're fictional characters. I don't know, just at first hand, I'd say Mary Jane. I'll tell you a story about Mary. I'll tell you how naive I am. I gave her the name Mary Jane for no particular reason. For a nickname, I had him call her MJ, and somebody said to me, Stan, that's the way they refer to marijuana. I swear on Marvel Comics, I did not know that. But it was too late to take it back, and now everybody thinks I'm real hip and I'm real with it, and whatever the expressions are.
Mr. Lee, it's such an honor to meet you finally.
Hold it a minute. He says we'll go over there, and a voice comes out of here, and it's driving me crazy. What is that? When they talk there, is the voice... Now, where they talk, the voice comes out of here. Is that what it is?
It's an audio system.
Really? Boy, this modern age. All right. Whoever you are, go ahead. I'll look over here.
Me and my friends are debating who would win in a fight, Wolverine or Human Torch.
Didn't we answer that? It depends on who's writing the story. Your guess is as good as mine. You probably know more about Wolverine and the Torch than I do. Everybody has his own conception of their power and how strong they are and who could beat anybody. If there was a rule that Wolverine would positively beat the Torch or vice versa, it wouldn't be as interesting when you read the stories. But if you don't know who would win, that makes it more fun. And so there you go.
Mr. Lee, you have created many beloved heroes. Who are some of your personal heroes?
You mean in Marvel Comics?
In your life?
Oh, in my life. Starting with me. Well, when I was a kid, about 10, 12 years old, my big hero was Errol Flynn, if you know. Some of you know. I gotta tell you, Errol Flynn was the sheriff of Dodge City. He was Captain Blood. He was Robin Hood. And he was the greatest guy with a sword you could ever see. So there I was, 12 years old. I would leave the movie theater with a little crooked smile, the kind I thought that Errol Flynn would have. And I'd be looking around for some little girl that might be bothered by a bully, so I could go and defend her. That's how Errol Flynn affected me. I wanted to bring the peace.
this a lot, but I'm a huge fan.
A fan of whom?
You.
Okay, you may continue.
My question is, of all your cameos in all the movies, which one is your favorite?
Oh golly, I don't even remember them all. I kind of like the one where they wouldn't let me into the wedding at the Fantastic Four. And I like the one where Iron Man thought I was Hugh Hefner. I'll tell you a funny thing about that. That was nice to do, because there were these three pretty blondes, and I was supposed to stand with my arms around all three of them. Now, naturally, if you're going to have your arms around three pretty girls, they have to be pretty close to you, because your arms aren't that long. So that made it nice. But in order to look like Hugh Hefner, they wanted me to smoke a pipe. They put a pipe in my mouth. So I want you to get the picture. I'm standing up, my arms are around three pretty girls, and I got a pipe in my mouth. Robert Downey Jr. passes behind me and says something like, "Hello, Hef," I don't know. And I'm supposed to turn around. So I had the pipe in my mouth, and every time I turned around, the pipe hit the girl next to me. If you ever see that movie again, you'll notice I'm not smoking the pipe in that scene. By the way, I have something very important to tell you. I'm sure I'm such a big hit here now that I'll be invited back next year. You didn't let me get to the punchline. So if I'm invited back next year, this is your personal responsibility. I want you to make sure that these damn chairs aren't so uncomfortable. There's no place to put your feet. Be a thing you can put your feet on. So my legs are dangling like a puppet. I can't reach the floor. It's a little too far away. And there's nothing to put your feet on. You don't seem to mind. You're a nice, uncomplaining guy. Me, I'm a complainer.
We can get somebody to lay here and you can put your feet on.
Love that.
We have a volunteer.
Get away, go.
Start over.
All right, let's be incredibly serious and dull.
Not just a guest, you're a king.
Oh, that's why I always like Dr. Doom as a villain. And those of you who know Dr. Doom, I'm going to tell you something about him. He's the king of his own country.
Yes.
And if he came to America, you couldn't arrest him if he committed a crime, because he had diplomatic immunity. He's the only criminal, the only super criminal with diplomatic immunity, but there's something even more interesting that I'm going to let you in on. You know what Dr. Doom wants. He wants to rule the world, and that's common knowledge. He then wants to rule the world. And he's one of Marvel's worst villains, biggest villains. But if you really think about it, those of you who are scholars and who really specialize in legal matters, you could walk up to any policeman in any city and you could say, "Officer, I want to rule the world." It's not a crime. He couldn't do anything to you. You could want to rule the world, and you could say that. Nobody would do anything. So if you really think about it, Dr. Doom, who's one of the world's worst criminals, doesn't do anything you could be arrested for. Now, DC never dreamed up a character like that.
available to everybody, sign autographs, whatever. We need to call this pretty short, so this will be our last question.
Just getting started.
Only doing what people are telling you.
All right.
Mr. Lee, being that you are the creator of Marvel superheroes, who would your favorite DC character be? Yeah! I'm curious.
I don't have any favorites. Seriously, if I don't have time to read our own books, I'm going to make time to read DC. I'll tell you one last thing, though, since we have to break it off. I'd like to end by imparting some scientific knowledge to the people I've been talking to. I feel you deserve it, you rate it. So I'm going to tell you the difference between Marvel and DC when it comes to science, and how Marvel is more scientifically accurate than DC is. We're going to start with Superman. You've all seen Superman fly in the movies, right? And the books, those of you who read the books. He has no visible means of propulsion. He just goes like this. Flies. Now we'll talk about Marvel. Take a character like the Mighty Thor. He has a hammer with a leather thong that's attached to his wrist. When he wants to go somewhere, he swings the hammer as fast as a propeller. Then he lets it go. The hammer goes flying off. It's attached to his wrist. It pulls him with it. Scientifically sound.
It is an honor to be in a room with you, Mr. Lee. I want to take a second here to introduce you to all, the crowd. This is the founder of our feast. This is Dan Farr. I wanted to thank Mr. Lee for being here. It's such an honor.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. Just a quick secret. We had to send the Incredible Hulk to get him to come. We wanted him so badly. Lou Ferrigno said that, talked to him personally to get you here.
He said he'd beat me up if I didn't come.
It's trying to be nice. But thank you so much. Thank you all for making this happen.
Hey, I gotta thank you. You are the greatest audience, the greatest people. You're the nicest people I've met at any convention. And